bring in Alabama Senator Doug Jones. Senator, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
What did you make of that chilly reception for the former mayor of New York City?
Well, it was only a few people. Let's just put this in perspective. There were probably 5 or 6 out of several hundred that were in that church that did that. But I think the thing that came out of Selma yesterday was not the chilly reception from a few people for Mayor Bloomberg, but it was the impassioned appearance of John Lewis at the foot of that bridge where he marched 55 years ago. It was the impassioned speech of Stacey Abrams talking about the existence of voter suppression still today and about Joe Biden's view for the future, where we are in this country and where we need to be going. Those are the real headlines that came out of Selma yesterday.
Yeah, and Joe Biden, fresh off of his big South Carolina victory, he did speak as well at Brown Chapel. You have fully endorsed the former vice president, thrown your support behind him. Coming off of that victory, what is next for that candidate?
Well, I think what is next is obvious. I mean, tomorrow is a big day. Super Tuesday is a big day. I think Joe's got the wind at his back. He's got more votes than anybody in this race so far as a matter of practicality. I think tomorrow there are challenges for the Biden campaign, certainly. But I think if you look at overall what he stands for, what he has stood for all his life, that's what I think the Democratic Party is looking for, and I think it's what the American people are looking for. So I believe he's going to have a very good day tomorrow. He's going to be way above what expectations were a couple of weeks ago because he does have that wind at his back.
I will throw out the Real Clear Politics average because it does not have Joe Biden in the lead as it once did. It is Bernie Sanders with a commanding lead of 29.6% now, with Joe Biden polling 18.8% on average and Bloomberg 16.4%, to Elizabeth Warren in fourth at 11.8%. Should Bernie Sanders get the nomination, will there be support from the Democratic Party for that candidate?
Well, you know, Alexander, I think it's really still early to speculate on this. I mean, we've had about 4 contests. We've got a bunch tomorrow. We've got a bunch more to go throughout March. I think as we see this race go forward, people are going to move. We've seen races, candidates drop out. Mayor Pete, who did an amazing job as a candidate yesterday. Those votes, I think, by and large, are going to go to Joe Biden. So I don't think that politics and polls right now are fully accurate. Not everything has been fully vetted. We got a long way to go. So instead of speculating, let's see how this shakes out. People are still making up their minds about where this race is going to go.
But speculation aside, should Bernie Sanders become the nominee, will your party support him?
I think there's a lot of people. Bernie Sanders has a lot of support, but so does a lot of other people. I think the issue is going to be where that goes in the next month. I mean, we can look down the road, but, people were asking the same questions of Donald Trump in 2016. I think at the end of the day, people are going to look and see what is going to be best for this country, and they're going to make a decision based on that, one way or another. I can't speak for the entire party. I don't know the entire party. I know this. All around the country, Democrats are going to be looking at local races. We are focused on races in the Senate and the House in which people are talking about the everyday issues that people face every day. Kitchen table issues like health care, jobs, how they're doing with their wages. Those are the issues that people care about, and that's what I think folks are going to be looking at across the country come 2016 in November.
Well, to put that issue to rest before I move on, not speaking for your party, speaking for yourself, will you support Bernie Sanders if he is the nominee?
I am going to run a Doug Jones race. I've got to tell you, and we have focused on that. Yes, I endorsed Joe Biden a long time ago. He has been a friend of mine for 40 years. I have always believed he would be a great president. I still believe that he will be a great president. And I think that where he is headed now, he's going to be a great president. But the fact of the matter is, regardless, we all look at our races on an individual basis.
So I don't hear no, but I also don't hear yes that you'll support Bernie Sanders as the nominee.
Well, what you're hearing is I'm going to run the race that I'm going to run, regardless. It doesn't matter who that nominee is. I've got a record that I think is the record that reflects the people of Alabama, and I'm very proud of that in the 17 bills that we've got enacted, bipartisan bills. You've got a very important re-election campaign happening right now. You've got the Alabama Senate race, looking at who might come up against you with Jeff Sessions now at polling 54%, and paired up in an election matchup with you. It's got all 3 of those candidates beating you in that Alabama Senate race. How do you plan to pull ahead? Look, I don't think polls right now are accurate. In 2017, polls had me down just the day before the election. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to those right now, because what I pay attention to is wherever I go around the state, that people talk to us about the job my office is doing and that we're doing, representing people, one Alabama, representing everybody from one end of the state to the other. Right now, what you're seeing over there is a very divisive primary. They're not talking about representing all the people. They're talking about us versus them. We've had enough of that in Alabama, and I think folks in the state ultimately going to want someone that represents everyone in Alabama and not just a segment of the people.
Senator, if I could ask you finally to go on the record responding to reports about campaign funds that were spent abroad, that were billed to your campaign, excess of $3,500 on a European trip, that you went overseas to raise campaign funds from Americans abroad. It's gone on the record with campaign fund records showing that you stayed at some pricey hotels. We've asked your campaign for a response. You're here this morning. Can you please respond?
It's very simple. You have to spend money to raise money, and we raised money over there. There are Democrats, Americans over there, and you spend money to raise money. I spend money when I go to wherever I am in the state of Alabama.
Senator, thank you for being
wherever
here.
I go in the state of Alabama.
We're out of time. We hope to have you back soon, Senator. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.